Before we get into the information, everybody, I want to say that inshallah tomorrow I will attempt to present a live event, um, and we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, but the things that I will be bringing from my portion is I want to talk a little bit more about Kamala Harris because so many people have drank the Kool-Aid of her debate performance, and I need to quell back that fire and tell you why that was nothing. It meant nothing, and why. And I also want to speak in depth about this public option fantasy and misdirection as it relates to the healthcare system and, like I say, this public option nonsense. What it is, why the people that are saying it, and who the people are that are saying it, etc., etc. So my intention is to bring you that, and possibly if we get a chance to, I'd like to get into some discussion about a lot of information about the continent of Africa, with a focus on Ghana, but several things about the continent itself, etc., etc. I may even elect to make that into a separate video. I don't know, but I intend to speak about that as well. That's my intention now as I speak to you. But anyways, so just be looking for a potential live event from me tomorrow. All right. But this is something that I want to get into now. This article that I'm bringing in this subject, and a shout out to Reynaldo Wayne, who has provoked this entire piece. I also want to remind you, say thank you to all of the donors to the GoFundMe. You guys, I was hoping that at least by the end of this month we could reach the $4,000 mark. We are not that far off, so I remind my people that the link for the GoFundMe, the link for that campaign is in the description underneath the video. Please go and give whatever is in your power, everybody. Whatever's in your power. If you got 4 quarters, we are grateful for that. But we can move this along. It should have been over by now, quite frankly. It should have been over. It should have been over, but it is yet again a testimony to our lethargy as a people and a lack of just coming together around a common purpose. We all suffer from that when that happens. And it's one of the benchmarks of why we can't do anything together or move forward as a people. It just is, you know. Just do what you can, everybody. Go look at the campaign and give whatever you can. I thank you in advance. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. A shout out to Reynaldo Wayne, who has presented this to us. And I really appreciate it, Reynaldo, because I've told you guys I'm international, I'm global. Like, I follow the goings on of what's happening on the earth that I live on. Um, the most of my focus is on the continent of Africa, but indeed, any and all goings on, and particularly things that have insinuations to politics, etc., etc. And quite frankly, I would do more pieces like this if I thought that my audience was receptive, you know, um, because these things are very important. I always say you have to know the environment in which you live, and that doesn't just include this illusion that we live in called America. It's the biggest illusion on earth. The biggest illusion. It's not in Vegas. It's not any. It's right here. You understand? The whole place. And this is particularly close to my heart because A, I don't like injustice and unfairness anywhere that it exists on the earth. That burns me. And I'm also very astutely aware of the goings on in this illegal state, this illegal, oppressive, murdering, bullying state of so called Israel. You know, I remind you that it's African people who are spoken of in the Injil, the Torah, and the Quran. African black people. These people that occupy this illegal portion of Palestine are Zionists. I've brought you full pieces showing, articulating, and proving that Orthodox Jews are even against this entire facade. I've brought you pieces on huge rallies that they've held with thousands of them. Thousands, thousands, thousands of them rallying and protesting against the illegal state of Israel. They say it does not speak for them. It has nothing to do with Judaism or the Torah or anything that we would put under the label of quote unquote Jewish at all. So these are nothing but European devils doing what they all do and always do across the earth. We know their footprint by the death, destruction, and starvation of innocent people. That's how we know. That's how we know. Now, this is very current, and it's interesting because while everybody is still focusing on Trump's racist tweets and all of this, stuff like this goes on, you see. And I also tell you that when you have big events or stuff that is the focal point of the media, then it is even more important that you go and do your jurisprudence of searching around to find out, well, what else is going on? You know, what else? Because there's got to be something more important than this, and particularly something that will be heinous and evil. And this would be an example of it. Israel demolishes Palestinian homes near separation wall. You know, think about it. They've not done anything for Puerto Rico. They're still suffering after the hurricane. Everybody forgets that. You know, let us remember that the water in Flint, Michigan is still uh, poisoned and not fit for consumption. You know, we could go on. It makes me sick, man. I tell you all the time, I pray, I ask Allah, why do you allow people that deliberately and purposely do evil to exist on the earth? Why don't you destroy them off the earth? Destroy them. Get rid of them. So that the rest of us can continue our arc of life in a way that allows us to not only read the signs from Allah's creation, but by extension also grow closer to our Creator, be able to know when we're on guidance from Him, and to arrange our character and our lives in a way that allows us to seek paradise after this life. This whole society is set up to distract you away from the divine. Distract you. It's interesting because my Nigerian brother, I tell you guys, I've been trying to go to church with him, you know, but for Christians, whether or not they go to church depends on if they're working or not. That doesn't go on for Muslims. Any job we're going to start, we let it be known at the beginning that we have to be off on Fridays, or at least we have to be able to leave to go to the mosque for our Friday service and come back, whichever way. But it's not ever predicated on whether or not we're off work. So this is a problem, and it's so sad because you have this whole population of Palestinian people who have been under absolute terror since 1948 when they established this illegal place called Israel, which I've also articulated to you is against Jewish law. They're not allowed to establish a state. I've brought you rabbis and Jewish scholars in the past who have articulated this for us. So this makes me sick. Israeli troops knocked down scores of Palestinian homes in the Sabah village despite international outcry. Because they're bullies and they do whatever they want. That's why I say I don't know why. They only get away with it because everybody else on the earth is not inclined to evil and just unprovoked violence. This is something unique to white people. Unique. I was watching an interview of a brother in Ghana, and at some point in the discussion they were talking about how, as it relates to education, because he was talking specifically about educating not just our children in on the continent of Africa, but just in the diaspora in general. And he was saying, and there needs to stop being so much focus on teaching European history. Like, our children don't need that. He named, the Romans, Alexander the Great. He named, I can't remember all the other devils, but what they all have in common is he was just saying, like, all their history is nothing but death, destruction, maiming, and killing, and dominating and taking over and conquering and all this other stuff. And that's so true. That's not the history of anybody else. And alas, it's not just their history, it's what they continue to do today. Period. So these white people in Israel are no different. It makes their little accents, and just because they live in that part of the world, that means nothing. They're still white people. And so they are given to the same attributes that we see and expect from these people. And interesting, or not just interesting, but I should also note once again that it says Israeli troops, you see. So there's a chain in which somebody, if they had any type of morality, could say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I was watching something the other day, and it was people being evicted from their homes. There was Atlanta. I think I saw some stuff in Ohio. I can't remember all the places, but at different points they showed marshals going there and knocking on the door with all their yelling and, and evicting people. Like somebody could have stood up and said, I'm not taking that assignment. If that means my job, then fire me now, but I'm not doing it. Like, I know that would be me. That would be me. I know me. I'm consistent. I don't have to imagine what I would do. I know what I would do because I know what's important to me and what my character is. You see, but sadly, the righteous are outnumbered by the evil, and people are pursuing this life, and money is their ultimate god and is the determining factor in their character and all this other nonsense. I'm over it. So if you just had these Israeli troops, which are nothing but devils too, to say we're not doing it, then at least that's one break in the chain. So the people giving the orders are either going to have to go out there and do it their damn self, or it doesn't get done. But moreover, if these Israeli troops were really moral people, not only wouldn't they take the assignment, even if it meant losing their jobs, they would then band together and go out and protect the site with their very bodies and say, not here, not here. You see, that's what righteousness looks like. That's what it looks like. And that's what it takes. I can't, dude. I can't. I can't. I can't. All of it makes me sick. People's homes just being destroyed. And there are untold millions of Palestinians that have been murdered. You know, sadly, they are not an armed people because as long as they've been enduring this, because for them, they're just like, we don't need to leave. We're not. And whatever that means, then it'll just have to mean that, but we're not leaving. It's a huge statement of principle, and I have to respect it. You see, but if they were armed, this would be a different equation. Because what you have is an attacker attacking people that can't defend themselves. It's a cowardice ass thing to do. Hundreds of Israeli devils with bulldozers tore down homes in the Palestinian village of Surbaher, despite local protests and international criticism. Residents of the village's Wadi al-Hummus neighborhood told local media on Monday that 16 residential buildings with about 100 apartments were being demolished. Preparations started past midnight as hundreds of armed Israeli occupying soldiers bulldozers stormed the town. Families threatened with demolition were woken up and moved out of their homes, said a tweet by the Palestinian Liberation Organization. The Israeli military considers the homes, which are close to an Israeli separation wall that crisscrosses the occupied West Bank, a, quote, security risk. You see, that's typical. Again, white people always imagining and conjuring some unrealistic fear while exacting terror on others, you see, who are really in fear and in terror. And until the people are being terrorized, raise up and strike back on their ass, this will continue. I always give you the analogy of the bully. You allow somebody to bully you, they will continue. You punch their entire front of their face off, they don't mess with you no more. It just happens that way. It's magical. The Israeli Supreme Court ruled in favor of the military last month. Did not see that coming. Big surprise. Ending a 7-year legal battle and set Monday as the deadline to knock down the homes. Palestinians say the demolition set a precedent for other towns along the route of the barrier, which runs for hundreds of kilometers around and through the occupied West Bank. Al Jazeera's Rob Matheson, reporting from the demolition area, said the Israeli action began at 7:15 a.m. local time. We heard very loud bangs coming from a building right next door to where we are now. It was from a large mechanical digger that was ripping off part of the roof of a building that was home up until this morning for to two families. The father of one of the families has been sitting on a chair in the street watching his home being torn apart. Think about that. This is terrorism. You understand? That's why I said we don't have any sympathy for Israel and all this bullshit. And then when you hear this anti-Semitic claim being made, ignore it. You understand? Ignore it, because A, they're not even Jews. Period. So you can't be anti something of somebody and they're not even that. I'm over it. It's more fiction they use to act like they're the ones that are so in danger, or they're this sovereign holy people. Just it makes me vomit, dude. I can't. The sprawling village of Sur Bahir straddles the line between occupied East Jerusalem and the occupied West Bank. It was captured and occupied by Israel in the 1967 war. Matheson said Israeli forces leveled a building in the West Bank and destroyed 50% of a home belonging to a Palestinian family of 10 on the East Jerusalem side. They took the family away. We heard screaming and shouting, and within 2 hours, 50% of the buildings had been destroyed. The demolition marked a very sober and sad day for Palestinian residents, he said. You see? And I always ask myself, where are the other Arab states in the region to come in and fucking bomb Israel or something? You understand? Or at least send arms to the Palestinians. Do something. Like, this is just going on out in the open, and nobody's helping these people. Nobody. And if we as African people don't get our act together and understand, today it's gentrification, tomorrow it will be this, where they just come in with bulldozers and just bulldoze your damn neighborhood. Because it's the same people. We make no distinction. No distinction. Israeli Internal Security Minister Gilad Erdan said the residents, quote, are making their own law by constructing these buildings. Well, it's in their territory. I can't. I'm trying not to get furious, everybody. I'm really trying not to get furious. Oh my God. There are hundreds of illegal structures, he told the Israeli Army radio. How are they illegal? Your whole existence is illegal, bitch. So, what are you saying? To my regret, there is no sufficient governance there. But it is not just that there are hundreds of structures there. Several dozens of them sit almost on the route of the separation fence, endangering the security forces that operate there. I wish they were. You understand? It's just like I say with our fucking police here. They always claim they were in fear of their life. We were in fear of our life. I wish the fuck they were. I really wish that. You see, it's a lie, it's imagined, it's fantasy, and there's no basis to it at all. Sadly. But Palestinians accused Israel of using security as a pretext to force them out of, that's what I'm saying, to force them out of the area as part of long-term efforts to expand settlements. All settlements on occupied Palestinian lands are illegal under international law. They also point out that and we're supposed to always feel sorry for these fucking people. You see, nobody's attacking them. There's nothing going on. You see, you never hear anything about the Orthodox Jews because the Zionist media in this country is just like the evil devils in fucking Israel. So that's why you never hear anything about Orthodox Jews. They're not ever the people they call to come and speak up on MSNBC or Fox or CNN or anything. All of it is Zionism, everybody, which is nothing. It's just the devil. That's it. These are not holy people. They're not connected to God. They don't have any fear of God. They don't believe in the last day. I mean, keep going. This is the devil on earth. Period. The damn end. Um, they also point out that most of the buildings in Wadi al Hamas neighborhood are meant to be under the Palestinian Authority and civilian control under the 1993 Oslo Accord. Quote, I built this house stone by stone. It was my dream to live in this house. Now I'm losing everything, said Fadi al-Wahash, 37, his voice breaking as a bulldozer destroyed his unfinished three-floor house. I had a permit to build from the Palestinian Authority. I thought I was doing the right thing. I promise you, you pull up a bulldozer to my house, if I live there, to come to destroy my shit, it's going to be some death and destruction. I'm not going to just sit and watch you destroy my house. You understand? That's not happening. I will make sure I'm ready and armed for some shit. What is happening today is a mass displacement of the people living in Wadi al Hamas, despite the legal and diplomatic attempts to protect their property. Ali al Obeidi, the chairman of the Wadi al Hamas committee, told the local Man news agency. Culture of impunity. Dali Quamesi, a lawyer from the Palestinian rights group Al Haq, told Al Jazeera that since the beginning of the Israeli occupation, the state has always maintained these policies of the destruction of Palestinian property and homes through the occupied Palestinian territories on on both sides of the Green Line. The case of Surbaher represents the physical translation of the culture of impunity that prevails, she said, speaking from the occupied West Bank city of Ramallah. Qumesi said the demolitions were part of a multi-layered situation of mass human rights violations. That includes the unjustified military destruction of property, the forcible transfer of Palestinians, the separation wall itself, and finally the violation of Palestinian sovereignty and the absolute right to self-determination. I'm over it. And this is the tweet, I guess. It looks like this is from Isan al-Faqih, and roughly translating, it's the latest demolition of Jerusalem buildings since 1967, or actually the largest demolition of buildings since 1967. 16 citizens removed. It's the first stage, including the latest for 225 apartments. And it's taking place near the separation wall. Oh, I'm mad they have a translation here. Okay, translation: the biggest demolition act in occupied Jerusalem since 1967. The Israeli occupation legalized the demolition of 16 residential buildings in Wadi al-Hamas area in Sur Baher. Well, I was just giving you a rough translation. And even theirs is rough. That's not complete. So mine was better. Residents said they would be made uh, homeless when the houses when the house is demolished. We will be in the streets. Ishmael Abadieh, Abadieh, 42, who lives in one of the buildings under threat with his family, including 4 children. Palestinian officials say the threatened structures lie that within areas they control. They should control. The buildings were all originally given permits and authorizations by the Palestinian Authority, which administers that part of the neighborhood. But the Israeli Supreme Court said the structures violated a construction ban, adding buildings close to the barrier could provide cover for attackers. Nobody's attacking their ass, and that's the problem. How much more of this is there to read? I don't know if we're gonna get through this, Reynaldo. Y'all know how I get. Y'all know how I get. Um, Israeli forces cut through the wire fences near the village early on Monday, allowing them easier access to the buildings. Floodlights lit up a partly constructed multi-story building as dozens of vehicles brought helmeted police and soldiers into the area. After the first light, mechanical diggers began destroying a 2-story house as soldiers moved in. They were filmed and photographed by Palestinian, Israeli, and international activists who mobilized to try to stop the demolition. Since 2 a.m., they have been evacuating people from their homes by force, and they have started planting explosives in the homes they want to destroy. There are hundreds of soldiers here, said Hamada, a community leader in one of the threatened areas. And this harkens back to 1948 because when they marched into Palestine, they literally came in, guns in hand, murdering people and throwing people out of their homes saying, "You don't live here no more." How can this be allowed to fucking exist, everybody? Just random people from all over the earth should be convening on the area and helping these people fight. I can't. And let us remember, this asshole of Satan that they call America gives $500 billion to their ass every year just because. And I've also articulated to you, you can't be in any type of politics in this nation unless you sign the pledge that you support fucking Israel. My ass. You understand? This is one of the reasons why they can't stand Ilhan Omar. You understand? Because she challenges this Zionist bullshit, as she and anybody else should. You understand? That's one lie that needs to be destroyed completely. The PLO issued a statement according to the Israeli Supreme Court aiming, quote, to set a precedent to enable the Israeli occupying forces to demolish numerous Palestinian buildings located in close proximity to the wall. And as I said from the translation, it's at least 225. In a statement, the European Union and said the structures were in areas under uh, Palestinian Authority jurisdiction, and Israel's demolition policy in occupied territory was illegal under international law. In line with the EU's long-standing position, we expect the Israeli authorities to immediately halt the ongoing demolition, it said. Well, you're just saying it. If you really meant it, you would send fucking troops there to start blowing their heads off and saying, "Get your ass out of here. No more destruction." and where are these people supposed to go and how are they supposed to be compensated? These are people's lives, everybody. And I'm somebody that believes that out of everything else all other evil that you want to do on the earth, all of it you should go to hell for. But certainly, if you've done anything that interferes with a person's arc from birth to death, you should burn in hell forever. I saw a thing where there was a lady, she's 76 or 78 years old. Her husband died, left her some money, substantial. Anyways, some dude came in that was supposed to be with some accounting firm and an investor type thing, whatever. And anyways, ended up bilking her, and she lost all her money. To me, that's somebody that should burn in hell forever. And she should get to see them burn. Because you've interfered with somebody's arc from birth to death. We only get one life. You understand? One life. One. That's why I'm ready to fight to the very death for anybody that's going to try and interfere with my arc of life. That's not happening. I stand at my gate and I'm the captain of my ship. You're not interfering with my arc. You're not doing that. Erdogan, Israel's international security minister and no doubt a liar, accused the EU of buying into the lies of the Palestinians. So now the Palestinians are lying. They're lying, but their shit is being demolished. They're the liars. He tweeted that under the Oslo Accord, Israel has the right to act against illegal construction that presents a security threat. Well, your very presence is a security threat. You understand? It's just like the White Devils here. They came and they murdered off 140 million people. Now, they're the ones that are in danger. They're the ones at threat. This is their nation. They're so patriotic and all this nonsense. It's backwards, everybody. These people all need to burn in hell. France separately condemned the destruction, saying it violated international law. These demolitions have taken place for the first time in an area controlled by the Palestinian Authority under the Oslo Accord. They represent a dangerous precedent which poses a direct threat to the two-state solution, a statement from the French Foreign Ministry said. And I want to say this, forget all this two-state bullshit. You understand? Like, if you come in and take part of my damn home, I'm never going to agree to you being there. You understand? If you had come like a human being, which none of these people are, and asked me, said, look, I need to seek refuge someplace. That's the other thing that kills me about this. These are Muslims. If you had come and asked, they would have facilitated these people, given them homes and all of that. The relationship between Orthodox Jews and Muslims has always been like brothers and sisters, and still is, but not these Zionist people. You understand? They make the same, they're supposed to be Israel and so holy, which is another lie, just like America makes out like it's this Christian nation, which it's exactly not. You understand? It is an agent of the devil, period, the end. The incubator of evil, the seat of Satan. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh said the Palestinians would complain to the International Criminal Court. This is a continuation of the forced displacement of the people of Jerusalem from their homes and lands, a war and a crime against humanity. Israel credits the separation wall project to be, or projects No, no, credits the separation wall, projected to be 720 kilometers long when complete, with stemming Palestinian suicide bombings that peaked in 2002 and 2003. Palestinians call it a land grab designed to annex parts of the West Bank, including Israeli settlements. You know, listen, don't give me suicide bombers. You understand? That's another fictional creation. You know, unless you got a videotape showing me that, it doesn't exist. It never happened. It never happened. And even if it had, that's all you got is a suicide bomber. We don't have them lobbing a fucking nuclear device into your fucking part of the damn country or something. Oh my God. I don't know why Allah doesn't just destroy these people off the earth. I just don't. I just don't. I just don't. You know, yet I do, because Allah has communicated to people just like myself in all His infinite wisdom. I loosely translate it just to say that Allah has said, don't ever think that they're getting away with anything. You know, well, I'm a human being and I need to see revenge happen. You know, I need to see it. I need to see it. That would just make me feel better, you know. But all these people need to burn in hell. Wow. Because ultimately, what they want is for Palestinians to just throw up their hands and say, okay, you win, never mind, we'll leave. And God bless them, they're not doing it. They've stayed, and we're not going nowhere. If it means our lives, damn it, then we just have to take it. But their whole entire history is on this land, and they're not going nowhere. They're just not. And this asshole of Satan aids and abets them, supports them, practically worships them. You see, it's a collusion of devils. They're the same, just in different locations. That's all. That's all. You know. I and with all the stuff they're going through, I remind you that when Ferguson was at its peak, when they started shooting tear gas at our people, the Palestinians started tweeting to us, telling us how to deal with tear gas, because they go through shit all the time. They were tweeting. That, I can't tell you how that warmed my heart. It was highly emotional. It was a bunch of things for me. Wow. 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 I can't. I can't. Righteous people need to understand. You need to put down this construct that the white devil has given to humanity, that somehow two wrongs don't make a right. Well, that's true if it's two wrongs, you see. But if one wrong has been executed, then the extinguishing of the perpetrator of that wrong, or at the very least, a retaliation, at the very least of equal measure, makes it right. You understand? That's not no two wrongs. That's a wrong because what? Because they never say that somebody goes and robs a bank. Well, now we have to arrest you. Nobody says, well, two wrongs don't make a right. No, you robbed a bank. Your ass is going to jail. Period. There has to be consequences. You understand? When there's consequences, people think twice about doing anything that they shouldn't do. But when there's no consequence, then they continue. They continue. They continue. You know, I'm over it. I'm over it. Thank you, Reynaldo, for sharing this. Um, and um, and it was fine just to send the link the way that you did. And I say to anybody, if you have something, you can just link it to your comment and send it. I'll look at it. If I'm gonna do it, I'll do it. If I don't, then I just don't. But don't ever feel like you can't share it and at least present it. That's fine. I don't have no issue with that. Oh man, this makes me sick. Anyways, at least I was able to get through this without getting my blood pressure too worked up, because things like this infuriate me. Infuriate on so many levels, because not just the injustice of it and the unfairness, but the fact that I can't just do something about it immediately. Because I have the spirit and the will to do some shit about it. I just don't have the ability. You know, that's what kills me also. That's what kills me. That kills me. Anyways, I leave this one here, everybody. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, everybody, and share the video. This is I noticed that even some of my core people will let me know Jedi, because they search for my videos, they check for them, but and I know they have their notifications turned on, but I know that YouTube plays games so that you have to be checking for my videos, or you got to come to the channel and look to see if they, turn your notification on. Some people get notifications, but some people don't, and that's by design. So you need to be searching for my videos and checking for them when I release them, but also you need to thumbs up the video. I need more participation from my people that follow me. I need that. I need that. I need that. It's not a lot to ask from anybody, period, the end. That's what I need, everybody. So please get about the business of doing that. And I thank you in advance. I'll see you soon.